Welcome back to Naval Action and episode 58 of A Letter to the King. So if you're new to the series, normally A Letter to the King is me keeping you up to date with the various PvP and the realm v realm, the fight for ports, etc. But as we're in a hiatus waiting for the Great Wipe, what I'm trying to do is keep people up to date with what's going on the test server. The test server numbers are relatively low because it's a bit of an effort to get over there. So I know, perhaps 90% of players don't make it onto the test bed. So hopefully this is a way of you finding out what's going on as far as game development is taking place. Now I have to say, I don't really understand why we need a test bed. Well, I do. It's because we as a player community play it as if it's the final product, and we're not very welcoming of new ideas bouncing around all over the place. But it does basically mean a large percentage of us aren't actually involved in what's going on, and from a distance it can all seem a bit hairy testicles, and it is hairy testicles. Before I sort of get into this week's thing based on some feedback, I just need to point out I'm very much a PvP player more than a PvE player. In saying that, I do actually play on my son's account because he's a Slacko ADE type of kid who just found it all too slow and boring. So I actually do a lot of crafting and a lot of trading on that particular account, and that's actually what I've been predominantly doing on the test server. However, I'm not a PvE server type of player. It's not my thing. That doesn't mean it's good or bad. It just means it's not my cup of tea. And so my comments are very much keyed off being a PvP player and probably a member of a clan too. So because I've played in a large clan, I imagine the game when it comes back to the production servers as I would be playing it with my clan mates. So if you're a solo player or a PvEer, there's probably not as much context here for you as you might like. It would be a bit like a netballer trying to commentate on basketball. Both of them are incredibly silly and they're different enough but look a bit the same. And that's really the delta between PvP and PvE. Let's have a look at what's on the test bed. So, probably one of the more exciting and new features is you can now craft cannons. So if you've got a level 1 workshop, which I haven't at the moment, you can craft cannons from this lovely cannon crafting screen. So a 24-pound long cannon will cost you 29 iron ore and 7 coal, which is a lot cheaper than buying them. And in fact, in the shop, you can't buy mediums and longs now unless they've been put up by players, basically. Oh, you can buy mediums, okay, but you can't buy long. Sorry, that's right. You can buy mediums, but you can't buy longs and carronades. So the only longs and carronades in the game now are player crafted ones. And I've actually sold a fair amount of longs. I did have a workshop earlier on when I was fiddling around. I haven't got one at the moment. So that's relatively a big change. It's a change I like, to be honest. You can craft cannons. That'd be cool. Be great in the long run if you can use different type of irons to perhaps, use some Swiss iron and get some more penetration or something. That'd be rather sexy. Med kits are gone. And now if you want to replenish crew in open world, you can do that using rum. And for each bottle of rum you get 10 crew back if you're in open world. In battle you can actually call on your surgeon to help fix up some of your crew on the ship. And so what you do is you have to carry rum in your hold, and then you can use that. I think the cooldown on it at the moment is every 10 minutes. And that's an important difference. I did touch on this last week. I run around now with, say, 110 hull repair kits or hull repair parts. That allows me to repair 10 times. It's a sort of fixed amount. I don't think it's a percentage, so you get like an exaggerated effect to repairs in the smaller ships. And you can repair, I think it's every 6 or 8 minutes. And I actually, on my own, well, me and my idiot fleet ship, took on 7 AI ships Now, I have to be honest, I did this somewhat under the gaze of the cannons of one of the ports to give me a little bit of a help. Now, my idiot fleet ship got spanked really quickly because it's an idiot, and you can't repair your fleet ship to my knowledge, so that was a bit of a blow, so I had to send that away. But I managed in about 55 minutes to kill all 7 AIs. I think I got 4 or 5 kills and 3 or 4 assists, something of that order, which got me quite a lot of PvE marks and a reasonable amount of money. I think I repaired 5 times, so it is a bit of a sort of kite and bash affair, but it's very different. It's very, very different being able to repair multiple times. And you can imagine in port battles, players being able to peel off and go and repair. Now at the moment, like I say, I'm pretty sure it takes like 11 hull repair parts to execute a repair. I'm sure they're tweaking and tuning this. And then there's a 6 or an 8 minute cooldown. And as far as I can tell, and it's very difficult because I haven't got lots of ships to practice this with, I think it repairs a fixed amount of HP. Therefore, for getting carpenter crews and the likes, the repair effect is kind of skewed to be amazing on the little ships. Because of course proportionally, if it's 500 HP that's being repaired, that's like a third of a small ship's health pool, whereas if you're in a larger ship, a ship of the line, that might only be an 1/8 or a 1/10 of that ship's hit points pool. Another big change is that crew are free. So in port you can just get as many crew as you want for no gold. And that is a real big change. Honestly, I don't really agree with that. I think crew should be a cost, but anyway, you need to make rum to repair out at sea. And another big change, which is something really that I think a lot of us have been talking about for yonks, is that a ship's cargo now affects speed. Now, rather hilariously, the second day after they put this in, the ship's cargo very badly affected speed. My Trincomalee could do a total of 1 knot, and I was halfway between Little Cayman and Savannah Lamar at the time, and it took me about an hour and a half, and then I got stuck in shallows, and then that was it, because I didn't have the momentum to get out. So then I was 0 knots, but they fixed that. But cargo affects speed. Now again, it seems perhaps to vary. I think the warships take a bigger thump than the cargo ships. So a fully laden La Grosse Venture seems to lose less percentage of its speed than, say, a fully laden Trincomalee. So this does make turning up to battle with a full hull of repairs cost you a knot or 2 in your top speed. So that's an interesting thing. There's a thing, ship skill progression. Now I restarted, so I'm not very good at this right now, but if I look at my La Grosse Venture, you'll see here I've got all 3 of my ship knowledges maxed out. Now that's because with trading ships you get that for free. You can reset this for a number of marks. You need to have an item which you craft from PvE marks. I think it's 25 PvE marks at the moment. It's a reasonable amount. It's not very easy to respec, which is a pain in test. However, on a warship, you have to earn your points by going out and bashing either people or AI ships. And you'll see here that I'm halfway through my first ship knowledge. Once I've got my ship knowledge, I'll be able to go and grab myself different types of skills, if you like, carpenter teams, hammocks, and so on and so forth. And you'll see that there's different ones for light ships, medium ships, and heavy ships of different types. Or you can capture them. If you capture a warship, you can steal the item from that, as well as your bow figures. So once you've learned the skill, as it were, it's more you can basically put something into this slot here. You can also buy and craft items to go in these slots. Don't know what that number means yet. I've seen all sorts of suppositions as to what that might mean. Now, but the last 2 slots, so the first 3 slots you earn in this ship by doing biffing in this particular ship, and it's a bit like you used to train your officer. But these last 2 slots, you actually populate these by leveling up your skills on an earlier ship. So for the Trincomalee, now I won't get this right, but you'll get the idea. For the Trincomalee, you'll see that it might be you have to get the frigate leveled up to a certain level in order to unlock this, and then it might be the Belle Poule to unlock this. So essentially there's a progression. So you have to think of the 3 slots as being the ones you earn for work on that ship, and the previous 2 shots, the last 2 slots, really to sort of fine-tune and tweak your ship. You may have to earn those by leveling another ship. And you'll see here, incidentally, I run around at the moment, I've got 150 hull repairs because I like to go out for a while, so that gives me quite a lot of repairing. I've got 200 rig repairs, that's probably too much. And I've got 180 run to help replenish my crew. Now, that means my hold is almost full, and as such it reduces my top speed by about a knot and a half on the Trink, as best as I can tell. So there's some significant changes there. Let's just go back to the summary. That ship skill progression. Crafting has become much more hardcore. So now when you're crafting, let me just go back here. If I go to craft a ship and the beautiful Constitution. First of all, you need a shipyard level 2, which I don't have on this toon. It's not built a fair one, that's embarrassing, isn't it? Now you'll see I've got all the bits and bobs apart from furnishings on ready to build my beautiful Constipation. However, if we look at furnishings, you'll see that I need to, in order to get 25 furnishings, I need to exchange that for 50 PvE marks. So I need to basically sink sort of maybe 40 battles worth of ships. I also need a Constitution permit, and in order to earn a Constitution permit, I have to get 15 PvP marks. Now that means I either have to essentially win 15 PvP battles or get kills in PvP battles to earn the marks, or I can come here and exchange my PvE marks for PvP marks. But you'll see that you know, you need, oh, I've got it the wrong way around, hang on a minute. There we go. So 10 PvE marks will give me 1 PvP mark. So I'd have to get 250 PvE marks. That's a lot of yakka, by the way. That is a lot of work to get those marks. And equally, I could get a victory, right? So the blueprint, and that's 33 conquest marks, which you get from port battles, or again, by exchanging, which way around is it to get conquest marks? There must be a way. Oh, there's the perk reset item, by the way. So 25 PvP marks makes 1 conquest mark. So that's like 33. That's a lot of PvP marks. So it's not overly easy to put this together, especially on the test server. I mean, look, there's 49 people online, 50 people. It's got a mad surge in the number of people online. So it's pretty hard to earn those marks at the moment on the test server. It might be a bit different. I mean, I don't know, maybe if you're screening or you're in a port battle, you might earn quite a hat load of marks. So that might be more natural than it currently feels on the test bed. You can't trade to other players in trade anymore. Dun dun dun. Now, obviously, you can put stuff on the market and go to a quiet port and tell them to quickly buy it, but it's not the same as trading. Or if you've got a clan warehouse, of course, you can do it through that. One of you deposits money, the other deposits an item, and so on and so forth. But fundamentally, you can't trade to other players. Now, drum roll. On the PvP servers, you can no longer capture AI ships. Well, actually, you can capture them, but you can't keep them. So you can board, kill all the crew, capture the ship, loot the ship, but then you don't get the ship at the end of the battle, and in fact you get no XP and no marks. So actually the trick is you board it, you steal the loot, you don't take control of it, and then you can choose to sink it on the boarding screen where you normally assign crew, and then you'll get the money for the kill and the PvE marks for the kill. Or if you're quick enough, if you sink a ship, as in you strip all one side of its armor off and you kill the ship core, the middle strip of armor, not armor, it's like the central health pool, it's meant to be the ship's structural integrity, you get rid of the middle bar as well. If you get to the ship at boarding speed before the water goes essentially over the deck, over the top rail, you can take all the loot off the ship. So again, that way you still get the XP, you still get the PvE marks, you still get the money, and you can get any loot you can carry and transfer it to your hold if you've got space in your hold, which you may or may not have. And more drum roll. You can't TP to safety out of the battle screen anymore. You have to go to open world after 15 minutes. So no safety net anymore. If you go biffing in enemy territory and the baddies come out in numbers to give you a counter biff, no TPing back to Happy Town. You're fighting your way home or dying. So that's very interesting, isn't it? So they're the big changes since last week on the testbed. We are actually due for the production server wipe about now. I've not seen any update on when that's going to be. The testbed still feels a little bit raw. I don't know if they have a stable production build that they're thinking of pushing through. I really wish they would, because I'm missing all my buddies. There's just a select few of us, a band of brothers as it were, humping around on the testbed. Like I say, it's 50 people, so if you think about that, testbed is common to the 3 servers. It's about a tenth of the population. So when the wipe does happen, should I come back is the question. Well, I say yes. Of course, it's up to you. It's a completely different game. So why would I come back? Is it because I'm a sadomasochist? Well, I am, but that's just a coincidence. It's a completely different game. The devs are saying that if you're looking for a fair fight, now there's nothing. So there's really only 3 ways you'll ever get a fair fight in naval action. Even let's go back to before the wipe. There was only 3 ways you would get a fair fight in naval action. In theory, a port battle is a fair fight. It's 25 on 25 with BR limits. Yes, the attackers are at a handicap because of the port defences, but essentially it's a fair fight. You'll get a fair fight by coincidence if 2 connies happen to bump into 2 connies in open world and you manage to get a tag off. That will then be a fair fight. But is it a fair fight? It's only really a fair fight if they're both kind of yellowed up the same, and if one of them isn't in a clan and the other is in a clan, then it's not a fair fight, is it? If 2 of them are on TeamSpeak coordinating with each other and the other are a couple of derpers just floating around on having a bit of fun. And of course the third way you used to be able to get a fair fight is essentially through a lobby game, be that a duel or perhaps a small battle, or an organised event by a player, as it were. Now, military wise, you should never get yourself into a fair fight. You should always try and get yourself into a fight that's to your advantage. So I think what the devs are saying, if you want a fair fight, wait for the arcade lobby game to come out, sort of World of Tanks, World of Warships, World of Naval Action type thing, that the arena game, I believe they're calling it. Or port battles, in essence, are fair fights. It's open world oriented, so no TPing, You can't even teleport home now. You can only teleport to the nearest port. And it teleports you to the nearest friendly deep water port. And that's on the 4-hour cooldown that the old teleport to capital used to be on. So it's very much harder. You have to forget all the old comforts. Basically, you've just left home. You're not living with your mum anymore. You're going to have to put toilet paper on the roll yourself. No one's going to magically make the bed for you. No one's going to pay your internet bills. No one's going to buy your Netflix for you. It's a scary monster's world. And sailing around with a whole bunch of trading goods, stuff that perhaps you've peeled out from your own fair forest. Oh, that's the thing I forgot. There's no pine or redwood anymore. Pine and redwood are now all fir, so they've simplified the mix of woods that are used in producing ships. So if you, it's much harder if you're sailing around with a full hull of sexy time goodies as a trader. A, you're really slow, so your lacrosse venture's not going to be able to run away from every man and his dog. And B, you've got a lot of your revenue tied up in the hull. So I would strongly recommend sailing with friends. Hold hands, operating twos. Perhaps one in a warship and one in the trading fleet. And the warship's job is to run interference for you. I'd recommend going in some of the more capable warships too. So the Lagros Venture, in fact, I'll show you mine. I've kitted mine out so that let's just go back to my Lagros. So I've got copper plating, I've got marines and melee trading. So my job is to shoot your sails, and then if you board me, I'm going to hurt you. And then I'm just going to hope that my buddy is going to be able to whittle you down before you can capture me and my delicious cargo. It's far more progression based with this concept of unlocking your ship knowledge. It's a player based economy. There's a lot less comforts than there used to be, and there's a lot more fear. Dying, you only got one Jura on your ship. Ships are really hard to craft. Money's really hard to come by. So I've got 5 buildings at the moment where I'm making oak logs and stone blocks and coal and iron ore and fair plantation. There's probably a mix of level 3 and 2s. If I harvest all of them, that's 400,000 gold. And that's only, I think I've got 2 level 3s and 3 level 2s. That's 400,000 gold. Now, essentially, you've got to work on the basis that I would imagine half of what you harvest, or even 2/3 of what you harvest, you're going to sell just to cover the cost of owning the buildings. And then the remaining third is what you're going to save up to build your ships with. But you can't build ships as a crafter without getting PvP marks. Now you can do that by getting millions of PvE marks, or you're going to have to get stuck into the PvP. So if you're looking for just fair fights, and then you can go and play World of Tanks or World of Warcraft or something without the word world in it, this probably isn't your game anymore. So because you exit to open world, if you and your mate go and bash up some poor trader, when you exit back to open world, and you will be thrown back to open world, then there may well be what people in the forums call a revenge fleet waiting for you. And they can take you all the way back home until they sink you, or you sink enough of them to get away. And of course all the time you're draining your repairs that you're carrying in your hull. So it's a lot more hardcore. But that's a bit of fun, really, isn't it? It's a dangerous game. Right, it's got an edge to it. It's real PvP. There's no cuddle blanket anymore. It's dark. Join a clan. Even, and I don't want to join a clan, I don't want to be told what to do. I hate people telling me what to do. I'm not that sort of person. You don't need to join a big organised clan. You can join a conglomerate of half a dozen players who just help look after each other. And it can be something as simple as, I will put half of my iron ore in the warehouse, you put half of your coal in the warehouse, and between us we can make iron ingots. You see the synergy there, it's delicious. Or when you do your trader runs, I will cover you. When I do my trader runs, you cover me. So it can be a clan of friends. And if you don't join a clan, get a big box of tissues, because there's going to be many tears and much scariness out there. There's still a few things I think that really need some balance. So I'm sort of okay with there not being a teleport home. I hated the battle screens where people could sit in them for an hour and everyone would camp the supposed position of a battle, and then everyone would have logged off and you don't know where they are. So now after 15 minutes they've either logged off or they're going to have to pop out. And when they log back in, they'll instantly log back in enemy waters. There'll be no battle screen they return to after 15 minutes anyway. But I do worry that, you do a port battle in your 25-man first rate fleet, and it was a glorious port battle, but you didn't win. And there's 21 of you left alive, and you're all a bit biffed up and low on supplies. Now you've got to sail home, but we know what's going to be waiting for us outside of the port. So you've only got 15 minutes. So that means you have to log off and come back at 3 o'clock in the morning to sneak your first rate home. And there is no teleport to capital. You'll just teleport to the nearest friendly port, deep water port, and even that's after a 4-hour cooldown. So that could put you in the middle of nowhere, depending on where you're attacking. So the 21 of you are going to have to sail back home. Now that's okay. I'm okay with that, actually. You failed to take the port. You took the risk. Now you've got to get out of there. And retreating's dangerous. I mean, routing armies are typically destroyed. So you've got to work out on, well, how do I get out of there? And, ideally your screening fleet has waited patiently for an hour and a half for you not to win the port battle. And they're there to escort you home. Now, your screening fleet itself might have been taken to challenge by local forces. So now you've got to get your fleet back. So let's say you get engaged by a bunch of scrabs and you bash them up and you win again. And there's 19 of you left. And now you're back to open world again. So now that's 3 hours of gameplay. Even 2 hours if you've smashed them quickly. And you get tagged again. And this is my problem with this system, to be honest, is that after, 3 or 4 hours of... I was once tagged 6 times between 2 ports. I was alone. There was 3 pirate scumbags. I was in a fast ship. They weren't in fast ships, but there was 3 of them. So they were trying to box me in and get me, but they didn't. They thought I had a sealed bottle. This was in the early days of sealed bottles. They were all excited to steal my sealed bottle. And I just got tired. And by about the 5th time they tagged me, it felt like griefing. And it was predominantly because it wasted 2.5 hours of my day. So I don't mind a port battle followed by an open world battle. Feels good to me, that. And then maybe if you survive that, maybe even another one feels good. But if we think about our European friends who hated fighting outside of their core time zone, how are they going to feel if they kick off a 9 PM port battle and it finishes at 10:30, and then they're engaged again for an hour and something? It's now 11:30. They're engaged again. It's now midnight, and half their team want to just log off, and the other half don't want to log off. So now it's 10 ships. So for me, there should be some sort of mercy rule. Maybe if it's your 3rd battle close in a session, you can choose to teleport home or something. I don't know. Something. It just seems that there's a life problem there. You might need to pretend to spend time with your family as if they're as important as gaming or something. I think crafting might be a little bit too hard. The fact that, trading manifests are gone. The only way I can build a constitution, if I was just a crafter type, a trader crafter type, I can only build a constitution if I've got PvP marks. So I either have to earn those off killing people, which I don't mind doing because I'm a bit of a jack of all trades, master of none, or I'm going to have to buy the PvP marks, assuming that there's a market out there. And then, of course, the PvPers will want you to make ships for them, won't want to pay the price that will cover the bloody cost that they're selling the PvP marks to you for. You know, that will work. I think another problem is that a lot of these ideas are kind of good ideas if there's 1,000 of us playing the game regularly, but low player numbers pervert the design. So if there's only 100 people on in your time zone, earning PvP marks is slow. It's very, very slow. A player economy where, other than the capitals, ports simply don't have resources in them, will force your whole nation to congregate around your capital, and there'll be very few hubs beyond your capital. Now, that in itself isn't too bad, but because everybody's sailing around the capital and capitals are uncapturable, it means PvP outside of capital waters will be less frequent while our numbers are low. So, you know, if everybody who on the Brit side is hanging around KPR, it's going to be very difficult for the enemy to flip, say, Belize, where there's no Brit players over here at all because there's no market economy to live by over here. So if I was the Spanish, there'll be no Brit players for me to kill here. And there's simply not enough AI fleets for me to raise enough aggro to flip the port for conquest. So there's a bit of a problem there. But overall, it's a new game. If you expect to come back to just the same game but with a reset map, and if you're European, no night flipping Yanks, and if you're a Yank, no moany Europeans in your oceans anymore, your expectations are not going to be met, because it's a whole new world. I almost sang that. Never sing unless you can, or you're alone, or you're drunk, or you're in the shower. So I actually think it's kind of good that the devs have got their mojo and they've finally got some design principles. I've been moaning about them not having design principles for ages. Now, a lot of people won't like the design principles when they first look at them because the comforts are gone, the training wheels are gone, the mum picking up your socks when you left them by the couch is gone. No one gives you a lift home from the station, you have to walk. So it is far more hardcore, but I'm okay with that. I'm alright with that. It's a scary world out there and the fear is real. I think there's a few compromises that I'm hoping over time, once they've got their hardcore principles sorted out, they add in for game purposes, just for comfort of people living their life. But generally, I'm happy they've got some principles now and that they're designing to those principles rather than just adding features and then realising it's all over the place. So that's it, I think. Let me just check. Yeah, that's it for this week's naval action. I'm really hoping the white comes soon because I miss playing with my buddies. I'm so lonely. And I'll see you on the ocean and I'll catch you.